when I decided that I was going to make this healing,
Mm.
teaching, spirituality, metaphysics, consciousness, my mission, my purpose, my excitement, my fun, when I decided that I was going to make that my business, everything happened
Mhm.
for me.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Soulfulness of Life podcast with me, your host, Soul Coach Jazara. In this podcast, we have soul conversations about life purpose, personal transformation journeys, and living in the present moment or mindfulness. I'm very, very happy to have with us today somebody who is better known as a provocative intuitive. He is an intuitive healer. As a matter of fact, he is a master theta healer. He's also an astrologer, a transformational speaker, and the founder of Metamorphesia, or a school that teaches living a 5D existence in a 3D reality. Wow. Okay. Some of you may not be very familiar with these terms, but don't worry because we will be diving into that much more later. So my guest has been traveling the world facilitating classes from Europe to the US and all the way to Asia, particularly China, also Indonesia, and much recently, the Philippines. So I was very fortunate to have attended some of his Access Consciousness classes last December because he is also an international Access Consciousness facilitator. I'm very, very happy to introduce my guest for today, Daniel Tuttle. Welcome,
Wow.
Daniel.
And happy birthday, Juzara. How did the
Thank
world
you,
get
thank
so
you, thank you.
lucky?
What a
Wow.
birthday
How?
gift to
No
say
kidding.
yes to my invitation to be on my podcast on my birthday. And, this is just really something I love to do, having soul conversations about our favorite topic, life purpose, our soul
Yeah.
purpose, your
Yeah.
life advocacy, and your journey to how you got to where you are, and also some of the tools that you can share with our listeners, our viewers on living in 5D, so they'll know more about that. Okay, so let's
Of
dive right in,
course.
Daniel. Maybe say, I know that was a very, very long intro, but
It was
please say
amazing.
something, a little something about yourself.
Okay. So, first of all, thank you, Jazara, for such a really, really beautiful self reflection for me on my life. And it reminds me how often we don't take a second to just allow ourselves to be grateful for everything that we have done and everything that we have created and everything that we have accomplished in our lives. I hear you talking about me and I go, oh my God, I did that. Oh my gosh, I did that. Oh my gosh, wow, you're right. And every single time I was like, I did that. And how often do we, from this point of view, this perspective where we're sitting in this body, forget to just take a second and acknowledge ourselves? And I just wanted to open today with that invitation because you sparked that in me. So how does it get any better? Thank you for that. And I want to invite everyone who's listening today, past, present, and future, to just whatever you're doing, stop what you're doing. The texting, the watching TV, the trying to put the kids' diapers on, whatever you're doing, just take a pause and just join Juzara and I and just let's just take a really big, deep, connected breath. Can we do that? Just to become so present. Okay.
Yeah.
So in through the nose and out through the mouth. Out. Do it again. In through the nose and out through the mouth. One more time. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Welcome to you. Welcome to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this time in this space with Jazara and I. And thank you for asking for this moment, for this time in this place in your life. Whether you are ready to acknowledge it and realize it, those of you who are listening have actually asked for everything that you're going to hear today. In some way, your subconscious mind, your energetic being said, I'm curious about the 5D existence. I'm curious about what tools would be a complement to my life. And what we want to invite you to do is just acknowledge you, just like Jazara acknowledged me in that beautiful introduction. Acknowledge what you chose to be so present in this time and in this space. I just want to also preface, I'm currently in Mexico City, one of my homes around the world. It's a little noisy outside. So if you hear anything buzzing around, it's just some energy that's moving around. Don't worry about it. We can just tune it out, right, Jazara?
Yes, it's a party in Mexico all the time. I haven't been there, but
It's
yeah, hopefully in the
it's a
future.
it's a fiesta. Exactly. It's always a
Yeah,
party.
fiesta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jazari, you created a beautiful invitation with inviting the listeners today to experience what it's like, what living in a 5D reality is versus a 3D reality, right?
Mm.
Okay.
Yes.
So most of this world, let's say, is functioning from a point of view that this computer, this phone, these glasses, these things that I'm wearing, this person who's sitting in front of me, this table, these chairs is all there is. This is it, right?
Mm.
The idea that this physical reality is all there is, right?
Mm.
That our life existence is about waking up, going through our routine, making money, paying our bills, having a family, having a wife, having a baby, a husband, or whatever it is you want, going through your life, getting to 65, retiring at 65, hoping that you have enough money to enjoy the last 10 plus years of your life, right?
Mm.
Most of this reality has been trained that that's all this life experience really is, right? And there is nothing wrong with that, first of all. There's nothing wrong with that. But it is a point of view. And it is a point of view that has kept many of us in what we would call the rat race of this reality, right? The rat race where you constantly chasing after something. I have to get the next opportunity. I have to do this. I have to resist aging. I have to stay thin. I have to, all of those points of views and conclusions. Those things are the things that keep us rooted in the 3D reality. A very simple way to look at that is to look at also all the judgments that you have in your life, the judgments about what is right and what is wrong and what is good and what is bad. Those are judgments because it's a point of view and it's a conclusion. And any time that we add any of those energies to anything, we've decided that that's all that exists. Okay?
Mm.
So, for example, I'd like to invite all of us, the listeners, I'd like to invite you guys to think about something it is that you desire in your life, something that you'd really like to manifest. Actually, Jazara, can I play with you a little bit? Do you mind? Can
Yeah.
I? Can we do a little
Okay.
birthday magic with you? What would you like to receive in your life right now?
Mm.
What is a goal?
Okay.
Much of this reality calls it a goal or a target or something like that.
During this pre-birthday self-introspection, what I've been asking is really to like fully embrace my purpose, right? Which is really, as you know, I shifted careers. I went into a totally different trajectory. I mentioned to you that maybe 2 years ago, I wouldn't have crossed paths with you. And the
That's
rest
right.
of, the people I recently met along this journey. And it's a completely different life. And I wouldn't have really imagined myself in this place. But I'm still wavering about whether sometimes, it still happens to me that I question myself, is this really where I want to go and all that? But the message that keeps on coming back is just trust, um, and do what you came here to do, and just surrender everything, and everything will be taken care of. So just, I guess it's trust, and because the one word I'm asking for this year is to soar, to soar into
Yeah.
2024, right?
Hmm.
Because I've already done my cocooning, when I
Hmm.
was learning to be a life coach, going through all the stuff of transformation, and now I'm here, and there's no turning back, right? So yeah, so
Yeah.
there,
Okay.
essentially, that's
Cool.
it.
All right. So let me ask you a few questions. Okay.
This is a
What's
gift, yes.
what's the worst thing that could possibly happen if you actually didn't achieve any of those things?
Hmm. I know that even if I choose something else, things will still be okay, right? But if it
Hmm.
doesn't happen, I also have this feeling that it was such a waste, right? That I
Yeah.
didn't get to fulfill my highest potentiality.
Ooh.
Yeah. So it's such
Ooh.
pressure.
Oh my God, that's such
Okay.
3D reality right there, right? That right
Yeah.
there is 3D reality. The 3D
Mm.
reality, beautifully and purposefully and magically illustrated to us, is that energy that she would attach to having some kind of regret. That is the immediate awareness that we know and can perceive that we've dropped into what is called a 3D reality. Whenever there is fear, doubt, uncertainty, whenever there is judgment, lack, then we know always that we're functioning from a 3D reality. But so let's turn it around. Okay. So take that energy. Let me ask you a question, Zuzara. Feel into that feeling that you perceive that you would have that regret
Mm.
energy, right?
Yeah.
Now, I would like to ask you, what what, and you have to answer me, by the way. You have to answer me. You have to make it up. Even if you can't think of something, you have to make it up. What
Mhm.
is it that you love? Listen carefully. What is it you love about having a regret about something that you didn't achieve? What do you love about that? And you can make it
I
up.
guess I'm making it relevant. I'm just making it relevant.
Ah, beautiful.
Mm.
So making it relevant. And what does making it relevant do for you? What do you love about making things relevant in your life?
I guess it creates drama. I don't know. I don't know.
Ooh, yeah, why not? And what does drama create for you in your life?
Like catch myself. Like, okay, I'm being dramatic again. Because I know I'm way past that.
So number one, you said basically what you said is for entertainment value, right? You
Yeah,
create
yeah,
drama
maybe.
for
Yeah,
entertainment value. Number one. And number two,
yeah.
you create drama because, my love, I love you so much, but you like to fix things, right?
Yeah, I
You
am
love to
so
fix
responsible.
things. So responsible, so
Yeah,
Capricorn. So
I
I
don't
have
want
to
na.
fix this and change it, and I have to do this and I have to do that, right?
Yeah.
So that's all 3D reality points of views. So, what we have the opportunity to do is we get to actually look at all of that and acknowledge that elevating to a 5D reality would be the awareness, the knowing, and the sense of peace and the sense of connection, almost like being the eye of a hurricane, right? A hurricane, you have the eye of the hurricane and you have these spinning, torturous, almost deadly winds and waters that swing around it. But in the center of that hurricane is that eye, and there's nothing going on in the eye, right?
Mm,
That is us being completely unbreakable and unshakable no matter what happens down here in this 3D reality.
mm,
It's the willingness to trust our intuition. It's the willingness to know, Jazara, that everything, and I do mean everything, everything of everything of everything of everything of everything is only happening to ascend us through this life experience so that we can learn all of our divine life lessons just to elevate even more and even more and even more,
mm,
right? So it's knowing that, let's just say, for sake of this silly conversation that we're having, that all of this Juzara soul coach stuff just fails miserably. Nobody wants to be
mm,
your client. Nobody wants to listen to your podcast. Nobody, right?
mm,
It's the willingness for you to say, oh, how cool. what did I learn about myself in this process? And
Mm.
how much greater did I become my true self? How much greater did I connect to my soul? How much greater did I connect to my intuition? How much greater am I now connected to the universe? Because this
Mhm.
doesn't bother me the way it would have
Mm.
bothered me 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago. And that's how you can also measure how much you've elevated through this lifetime, right? Like
Mm.
if I look at myself, I look at the things that, so to say, bother me now, or actually, let me say it this way: the things that bothered me 10 years ago that I probably would have flipped my shit on, okay, and
Mhm.
completely like taken my energy, pulled my energy, that I would have like really tried to find reasoning and justification for, that I would have made myself wrong about. Those things, they are not even in my reality anymore, Chisara. They don't even
Mm.
happen to me anymore, right?
Mm. Mm.
And they don't happen to me not because I'm some big holy person. They don't happen to me anymore because I don't need to continue to learn those lessons that those reactive moments were teaching me.
Mm.
Okay. So once you've learned and actually you receive and you download and you learn those lifelong lessons, then you close the door on them and you never have to deal with that crap again. But
Mm.
how many of us go through our entire life experience repeating the same things over and over and over? How many of you who are out there dating, trying to find your soulmate, going on this, that, date, and you're dating the same guy with a different clothes, right? With different hair, maybe a different age, but he's got the same baggage and he treats you exactly the same. That's not his fault. It's because you've been unwilling to look at yourself and change, right?
Mm.
When you start to look at yourself and change, when you start to learn and look at the value that you have to add to this world in partnership, in co-creationship, then all of a sudden you go, oh, wow, I've learned the lesson. I don't have to attract some guy into my life that I have to fix,
Mm.
right? I can now recognize that I can be an equal partner to someone. Wow, how awesome am I? Creator, source, light, universe, thank you so much. I'm awesome. I don't need a person to complete me. I don't need a man to complete me. I am
Mhm.
fully whole and complete here in this present moment with what I be and who I show up as.
Mhm.
And then from that whole space, I get to say, huh, I wonder who would like to come into my experience that is actually a vibrational match for me. So then that's how you shift the movie, you shift the paradigm from keeping attracting these people into your life that are holding you down, where
Mm.
you're learning the same lessons over and over and over, and you're proving to yourself, nope, I've learned that lesson. I'm never going out with an asshole like that ever again. Excuse my French. Sometimes I cuss a lot. That's why they call me provocative. And it's true. You can have a dirty mouth and be spiritual at the same time.
I have heard, it being impressed upon me so many times that you do attract not what you want, but who you are, right? So it all begins with everything starts within. Yeah, just the thought of it when you were describing it, it's so liberating. It's just so wow, it's so light and it's what a way to live, right? Yeah.
It gives you all the power back.
Mm, yeah.
It gives you the power back because you get to go, oh, hey, you know what? Okay, what can I change about me that would change this situation now? Right?
Mm, yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
So you hold all the answers. And
Always.
so, yeah. I mean, Daniel, we're the same, almost the same age. I'm older than you by, I don't know, days, months.
6 months.
I'm older. I was just mentioning to Daniel that I am already a grandma because my nephews have children. And so I am a Lola here in the Philippines, but a true
Lola.
Lola. I am curious also, just to inspire us because some of us may think, oh, I'm already midlife. Is there still room for me to transform? And, because my motto is the rest of my life, the best of my life. I do know there's still a lot of things to learn. But in terms of like your life experience, when did the shift happen? Was it much, much, much when you were much younger? You already knew this. You've already been living in 5D. Or, what was it like? What was the point at which you shifted dramatically and then reached a point where you can now actually teach this, because you can't really teach what you don't live, right? So
That's correct.
yeah, talk about that. Yeah.
Right. Thank you for that. That's a great question too. And it's so interesting to how the universe works because I my whole life, Jazara, I have been, let's call it intuitive, right? I've always had a connection to my guides, my angels. I always knew things that I didn't necessarily want to know, but I did know. Many things that I repressed, many things that I swallowed. Um, and I knew that something was really, really different about me, right? And I took that energy of being different and I expressed it in very, very ways that young people and young adults do, right? I became an actor. I was a professional actor for 30 years. I based my entire life on the success of my acting career because that was something where I perceived that I could take the energy that I had inside of me, the energy that I had to my intuition, to my psychic abilities, and channel them through into performance using different characters. So acting was very natural for me. I was a natural actor and I loved acting so much. And it kind of became my, as we like to say, purpose, right? I
Mm.
put all my eggs into that basket. And over here, I would be like doing my tarot cards and I would do my
Mm.
astro charts and I would have my meditations and talk to my guides and angels and, see people's auras and perceive their past lives. Like I'd still have that, but I really would only entertain about this much of it because this much of my life was spent trying to fulfill
Mm.
this 3D reality that I had to be my purpose. I had to go out into the world and share my purpose. But really, the reason that I wanted to become an actor was because there was something that was so powerful to me about the people that had gone from, I'll say, nothing in their lives and had achieved great success. And namely, the one that I will always use, who was the one that changed my life, is Madonna, right?
Mm.
When I was very, very young, Madonna had an impression on me that was life changing. And it wasn't because she was running around in her panties singing like a virgin. It wasn't because she was hot and beautiful and sexy and all the boys wanted her. It was because she was a girl from Detroit who had nothing except a dream. And she worked really, really hard at her skills and her discipline, what she did have. But she moved to New York City with $35 in her pocket when she was 19 years old, right? She really, 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 in America, we call it the American dream, right? It's what America used to be built upon, was this idea that anything can happen in America. And I remember learning about her story. I remember being so passionate about her. And then something powerful happened too. Madonna started to speak out and she started to become a voice for those who didn't have a voice. And at that time, she was a voice for the gay community. She was a voice for people who were dying of AIDS. She was a voice for those who didn't have a voice. And so I watched that and I said, that's what I want because she changed my life.
Mm.
She changed my life so much. I said, I'll be damned if I am not going to do that for somebody else. I want somebody else to have that experience that Madonna gives to me. And actually, not only do I want one person, I want millions of people to do it. Right. So that's why I became an actor because I thought, well, this is my skill. My skill is that I'm a really good actor. My skill is that I'm going to do that. I'm going to become famous. I'm going to have this big voice. Everybody's going to listen to me and everybody's going to, you know, follow their dream, right? That was what I had decided my purpose was, Jazara. So everything that was, I made so significant in my life that nothing else mattered. That's it.
Mm,
Okay.
mm,
And so in that laser focus, I had success. Have worked on probably over 300 TV shows and movies in my entire time, stage performances, everything. None of them, though, Jazar, actually got me what I was really desiring, which was to change people's lives. None of it had the magnitude with which I knew my soul was capable of actually expressing.
mm,
And so I started to really, really, really look, and there were a lot of things that were going on in my life. I had bought the point of view and the conclusion that in order for me to be spiritual, and I'll actually say religious because I got a little religious there for a minute. In order for me to be religious, I had to get married and have kids and be connected to God, and that was the only way for me to have, to cleave to the light of the Creator, and that in order for me to meet my correction in this lifetime, that's what I had to do. So my ask became that. My ask became the ask of other people, what other people told me I have to do. Right. And so all of a sudden, I started to form these beliefs that that was the only way for me to do my spiritual work and for me to be successful. Right. And there were people within my religious community who told me, stick to this, go get married, have kids, do this, and God will give you everything you ask for. Right. But it wasn't happening. And quite frankly, I was unhappy because I
mm,
knew it wasn't my truth. It was not light in my universe, Jazara. And so about 5, 6 years ago, well, almost 10 years ago, I started to learn the theta healing technique because I was always into metaphysics. I studied Kabbalah for 20 years. I studied Buddhism. I've studied Taoism. I've studied tarot. I'm an astrologer. All of these things have interest in my life, right? And one day, my dear friend, who also happened to be my Kabbalah teacher at the time, she said to me, "You are a healer. When are you going to acknowledge that you're a healer?" And I was like, that's so weird. I've been told that before, right? I used to go to these psychics all around, and every single psychic I saw for the last 20 years has told me I'm a healer. And I was like, nah, I'm a star. I'm a celebrity. I'm not a healer.
mm,
I didn't want anything to do with it, right?
mm,
But when she said it, I was like, okay, I get it. And I was like, okay, what do I do? And she goes, I've been doing this really cool technique. It's called theta healing. Theta healing is really, really powerful. It really kind of has done something to me. Maybe it will help you. And so I started to learn theta healing. And theta healing actually changed my life because it made me go, what? I'm creating this reality? All these limiting beliefs are what's creating this chaos in my life? And I'm walking around pretending like everything is all hunky dory and all great and all wonderful, but inside I'm imploding. What?
mm,
And theta healing took it out of me and put it on the table and said, "Hey, Daniel, would you like to change this?" And I go, yeah. And my success with theta healing was almost overnight. I finished my first advanced courses, and I just put something on Facebook. I said, "Hey, I'm doing this thing now called theta healing. Anybody wants a session, let me know." And I was
mm,
charging practically nothing for it because I wanted practice. And word of mouth started to spread, Jazara. And word of mouth started to
mm,
spread. Before I knew it, I had so many clients that were coming to me for theta healing sessions that I was not able to go to my auditions. I wasn't able to do my calls. And I started to see I was actually going to connect to that purpose that I always wanted, which was to inspire people to change their lives, to inspire people to live their best life, to know that their dreams are possible. And so I started to take it a little seriously and a little seriously, but I still had my one big octopus arm in in the other pond over here. And
mm,
in the acting pond, I had one big octopus arm there, and I was still married over, and I had this one over here, but I was in the middle, like my soul was like, ah. About 5 years ago, I got the courage to put myself first. I got the courage
mm,
to say, you know what, Daniel, none of this is happening. You don't have kids. This marriage isn't going anywhere. My ex was great, wonderful person, but it wasn't moving. It wasn't going anywhere. It wasn't doing anything that I had actually set it out for. And I realized that that's because my ask had changed. I was no longer asking to fulfill these other people's requirements about what my life should be in order to connect to God, what I have to do to connect to God. So then I also released myself from that religious path. I released myself from that religious path. I got divorced. And all of a sudden, the pandemic happened. And when the pandemic happened, the entertainment business shut down entirely. And I realized in that moment, I got very, very sick with COVID when it first came to New York, really, March of 2020. And ironically, I got sick at an event at the religious institution that I was attending. Okay? I got so sick that I literally laid in bed for nearly a month with COVID. Okay? And in that space, I became so wickedly psychic, more psychic than I have ever been in my life. I was having dreams and I was having experiences and I was having all of this stuff happen to me. And I go, oh my God, am I hallucinating? What's going on? Right? But every time I laid in that bed, I worked on myself and I worked on myself and I worked on myself. I worked on myself to heal myself, to heal myself. And every single time I would get this download and I would hear these people whispering to me, and I'm alone in the middle of my apartment. I hear these energies whispering to me, friends of mine. How can I connect to the creator? How can I connect to the universe? What will it take? And blah, 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 blah. And I'm going, I don't know. So I said to the creator, I said to the universe, I said, please show me, give me the tools so that I can teach them how they can connect to their higher self, how they can connect to their soul, how they can live in 5D. And it was in those times and in those places, Jazar, that I was given the tools of Metamorphesia. Metamorphesia really, really was something that I wasn't asking to create my own modality. I wasn't asking to, revolutionize the, healing industry or the spiritual metaphysical industry. No, I was just asking, how can I help? How can I be of service to these people who are asking me these questions? And as you know, questions are the most powerful thing in the universe. They connect us to possibility. And so that is how my process began. And Jazara, from that moment, wow, when I left the entertainment business, I'm going to use the term left the entertainment business because that's how this reality likes to process it. When I decided that I was going to make this healing, teaching, spirituality, metaphysics, consciousness, my mission, my purpose, my excitement, my fun, when I decided that I was going to make that my business, everything happened for me. Everything. I started to live these dreams that I remembered I'd had when I was a child about traveling the world and living all over the world and learning new languages and meeting new people. These dreams that I had that I could actually be successful, that I could actually make a lot of money and I could have a lot of fun doing so, and I could be charitable and I could help others and I could empower the world. And that's what I've been doing really for the last 5 years, but really it went on turbo with the pandemic. Because also, let's be fair, during the pandemic, everything went online, right?
Yeah.
And when everything went online, then also I had full and complete freedom to do whatever I wanted. Right?
Yeah.
During the pandemic, after I had recovered from COVID, everybody else was still starting to get it, starting to do their thing. And I was like, what do I do? And I started to teach online. And I looked on the map and I said, where can I go in this world that's still open that I don't need a COVID test? And the world said, Istanbul. So I packed my bags, I booked a flight, and I went to Istanbul. Right? It just so happened that my teacher, Vianna Steibel, founder of Theta Healing, was also there. So I got to spend time with Vianna. I got to learn from one-on-one with Vianna, right? I came away from Istanbul so radiant. I met Dr. Dane here from Access Consciousness. I did Access Consciousness in Istanbul because Turkey was one of the only places that was still allowing those things to happen. And so, as you know, the rest is history. I have now been teaching all over the world. I have miraculously and amazingly and so incredibly that I'm so grateful for, I have a huge community of students in China. I
Mm.
have, as you guys all know, my beautiful community in the Philippines, who I love so much, and Southeast Asia and Indonesia and in Thailand. And I have communities in North America and New York.
Mm.
And I'm looking to, and we just launched in the Middle East in the fall. So now we have a community in the Middle East. And we're looking to expand into Europe and bring these tools to Europe. So that's really, wow, the long biography of my life. And it just all kept unfolding. So
Yeah. Imagine. Yeah, that's like biography, podcast biography for you. Yeah. But I
exactly,
was I
exactly.
was trying to process it, this your story, because I do know parts of it, but I was also
Uh-huh.
now trying to look at, okay, so because I do coach like people who are um so miserable with their day jobs, for example, and they don't know what
Yeah.
to do next, but they don't know yet what it is that they just know that they want to leave, but they don't
Hmm.
know where to go, right? Because they're still figuring it out. And because in my case, I left my job and I didn't actually know where I was gonna go. So I wouldn't really advise that for everyone because
Right.
yeah, because it takes a lot of courage. But I guess in like, similarities between your story and my story, I did find my way. And so I was looking at
Hmm.
what we were talking about earlier, about not being too attached, like this soul coaching of mine, just like
Hmm.
you wanted to really be an actor, right? But this, as you said, what if it fails miserably? I don't want to be too attached to it because there might be something else I'm being
Yeah,
called to do, right? And
that's
it
right.
just and it's there's I we all have many gifts. I guess it's also
Yes.
because you do. I mean, it's being attuned to, like, the ingredients to it are your gifts, what makes you happy, what makes you true to yourself.
Hmm.
Also having the courage to follow it,
Yeah.
and to be open. And anyways, I'm trying to think about, even if you don't have all the answers yet, just these basic things, like, know what is it really that will make you happy.
Yeah.
What are your gifts that you do so effortlessly, right?
Correct.
And I guess, the big thing for you, because you did have a gift of being an actor, but it's really the, I guess, your mission, like you really wanted to touch people's lives, which
Yeah.
maybe that was a missing thing in the acting, and which you now get to do. So if you look at all that, that's really 5D, right?
You said something really, really beautiful that I wanted to comment on from my own personal experience. The hardest thing for me was that I didn't hate my day job. I loved my day job. I loved it. I loved, the last movie that I did was The Greatest Showman.
Mm,
And
wow.
in so many ways, it was because I grew up in musical theater, right? And so I love musical theater. So for me to do, and I always dreamed of actually doing musical movies. And so when I got to do this movie, we worked on this movie for 3 months, and I was there all the time working with obviously the best of the best: Hugh Jackman, Michelle Williams, Zac Efron, this incredible, incredible cast. These incredible people. Every day I got to go to work and I got to watch them perform and sing and be a part of it and interact with them. And, I had a moment on screen with Hugh Jackman, and like, oh my God, if I go and I tell the 8-year-old version of me that one day he's going to be on the movie screen, that little 8-year-old version of me will be like, oh my God, it's really going to happen. Right. And so that's what was really, really hard, is those moments, Jazara,
Mm,
that were so fun and so
mm,
thrilling and so exciting and paid me well. That was great. It was awesome. But there was still
mm,
something missing.
mm.
There
Yeah.
was still something missing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the courage to say, hey, I think that if I really look at what I have to offer, like you said, look at what the gifts I really have to offer are, and
Mm,
focus only on those gifts. What more is available for me in this lifetime? that I'm not even acknowledging about myself.
Mm.
And that's when you can get really, really real. And you can say, hey, you know what? Look at my life. Like this is great. This is awesome. I've achieved everything I want to achieve. Now, as we say in Access Consciousness, how does it get even better? How does it
Mm. Mhm.
get even better? What else is truly possible that I've never considered before? And to be in that
Mm.
space of being the question, then you can open up and experience so much more. And without giving something up, the point of view that I gave up acting is just a point of view. Let me be very, very clear. I still feel in
Mm.
my heart that the
Mm.
opportunities are going to come to me in a different way, shape, and form, right?
Mm.
I've let go of them. They don't have to happen. They're
Yeah.
not going to pay my bills. They're not going to make me fulfill my soul's purpose, but they're really fun for me. Making movies is
Yeah.
really, really fun for me, right? But what would
Yeah.
it take for me to make movies that I could also inspire people with in the
Yeah.
capacity that I am in now, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's what I
So
think also,
yeah.
you asked about
Mm.
metamorphesia.
Mm.
And metamorphesia is really looking at your intuition, right? It's
Mm.
teaching people how to connect to their intuition. We go through this deep process. Metamorphesia is 5 days long. It's 2 hours a
Mm.
day. That's it. It's
Mhm.
only 2 hours a day
Mhm.
because what I downloaded was that it was a practice,
Mm.
right? And the practice of becoming intuitive is like going to a gym, right?
Mm.
One day you work on your arms. Next day, you work on your legs. The next day, you work on your shoulders. The next day, you work on your crunches. Each day, you work on something different. Metamorphesia is the same
Mm.
way. Every single day, you tap into a new ability and technique and you try it. You learn a new tool. You go through the process of really looking at yourself, looking at your physical body from a 5D perspective and acknowledging where your limitations are, right? When you
Mm.
can see where your limitations are in the 3D reality, then you can actually say, okay, I got that. So let me tap into all of my senses. Let me tap into my intuition. And what will it take for me to be guided divinely
Mhm.
from my intuition? So that's what
Mm.
metamorphesia is. Metamorphesia is really about tapping into your intuition. Level one is about tapping into your intuition and really allowing your intuition to be your inner guidance system. The way that I saw it, the way that the creator gave it to me was as a pyramid, right? Creator gave me
Mhm.
this image of a pyramid. And so the bottom of the pyramid is where
Yeah.
you start, like level one is here. And so there's a lot to cover in level one. And then we go level two, and then we go, oh,
Mm.
level three, right? And level three is that
Mm.
actually what we call an activation. So it
Mm.
is something very, very powerful.
Question. So, as you know, as coaches, we can get so addicted to taking courses. So there are a lot of
Yeah.
modalities, and we just really want to keep our toolbox full of tools. Maybe it's the
Mhm.
unique flavor of metamorphesia. Yeah, what is, I guess, what it sets it apart, or yeah, what is it uniquely something that was given to you?
Cool. Again, cool question. You have such great questions. Who taught you to
Yeah.
ask these questions, huh?
Channel
I
channeling,
wonder.
channeling.
Exactly,
No, I'm just
exactly.
really curious. Yeah.
Yeah. So my vision is that I would like to, I would like for metamorphesia to be the thing that works simultaneously, effectively, and perfectly with everything else that you do. Right? So,
Mm.
for example, I'm a theta healer and I'm an access consciousness certified facilitator. And, you know, I studied
Mm.
Kabbalah for 20 years and Buddhism and Taoism, and I've studied it all. Right. So when you come and
Mm.
have a session with me, like if somebody books a session with me and they come to have a session with me, that's what you get. You get 30 years, 40 years, oh my God, 40 years of metaphysics. You get
Mm.
39 and a half years of metaphysics. You get 39 and a half years of what I have learned and what I have gained and what I have gone through, what I have been through. And metamorphesia has always been for me the undercurrent of it all, right? So I've always had metamorphesia. I've always had
Mm.
it.
Mm.
Then I learned theta healing. Then I learned access consciousness. Then I learned this. Then I learned Kabbalah. Then I learned Buddhism. Then I da, 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 da. And then I realized that this metamorphesia is what I need, what is required to go out there and teach the world, right?
Mm.
Because what if this was actually something that you could have that connection to your intuition in
Mm.
everything that you do,
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
especially for
Great.
coaches, even especially coaches. Wow, like I mean, imagine. I think life coaching is something too that we want to be very intuitive about, right?
Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
what if we actually acknowledge that taking those tools and applying those tools into that world too was something that was going to create more for you too?
And the name is really because I think like the logo should be a butterfly or something. But yeah,
Ah,
but the name is really because it's transformation, right? It's
mhm.
change, right? What inspired you to give that name?
Cool question. Okay, guess what happened? This is what happened. I was actually first of all, I was downloading all this stuff and I was going, oh God, this feels like so much work to teach it. I really was. I was like, oh God, I don't want to write it down. I don't want to type it out. Oh, God, come on. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And I really, really didn't want to do it. I was like, I have all these other things. Who cares? And I was in this beautiful, beautiful session with a client in Australia. And I was sitting in my office here in Mexico City. It was a year and a half ago. Sitting in my office in Mexico City, it was after hours because it was her Australia time, my Mexico City night time. So there was nobody in my office, just me on my computer with her. And all of a sudden, I felt this energy push me out of the way. And I was like, oh my God, what is that? And then what came out of me with this session with this woman was so powerful. I don't know what happened. I finished the session and then all of a sudden I came right back to my body.
Mm.
And I hung up the call and I go, okay, God, I get the point.
Mm.
Get
Mm.
out of the way, right? The creator was saying, just get out of the way and let me do it. And then I go, okay, creator, what
Mhm.
is this? What do I call this? And my mind went to metamorphosis, right?
Mm.
Metamorphosis is when things change, change structure and form and all of that. And I was like, and then I that didn't feel light, and I was like meta, and I started to feel the energy of it all, and then all of a sudden I heard metamorphesia, and I had to actually
Mm.
look it up. Like I had to literally dissect the word and look it up. What is a
Mm.
meta? What is a morph? And what is aphesia? Right? And
Mm.
really, really, what it is it is a technique. It is a process with which you actually become that which you are asking to transform into, or that you don't even know is available to you. So it's the physia is the process with which you get to do it, right? And
Mm.
that's what the course
Mm.
is. The technique and the tools are all about taking that energy and applying it into your life. Once you've actually gone through these levels, that becomes something completely different. And that's when you actually achieve the process of the metamorphesia.
Transformation isn't overnight. It's a blend with your life experiences, your life lessons, right? I mean, you can
Right.
go take all the things, but it won't be as potent as when you have gone through the life lessons and the
Correct.
application of it. You will be only as effective as how you apply it and how you allow it to transform yourself, which really, of course, we are still in 3D. Takes time,
Mhm.
right?
That's
I
right.
like to, I like the story about getting out of your own way because a lot of the times, so you are being asked to do something, to birth something or to help with something, but you have all these stuff right? But just
That.
allow it. Just allow it.
Yeah.
Okay, we can go
Beautiful.
on and on, Daniel. I'm so mindful that it is late at night already there. Uh,
Oh,
let's share with everyone where people can find you. Um and Daniel has a very very generous gift every day. He mentioned that he's a theta healer and he does every day very short but very powerful theta healing for free. So go ahead, Daniel. Please do share with everyone.
thank you. So, yeah. So, first of all, if you're listening and any of this resonates with you, you can, of course, please join me on social media. My Instagram is at Daniel Tuttle CF. That's my Instagram. You can find me also on TikTok, TikTok at The Provocative Intuitive. And you can go to my website. And my website is theprovocativeintuitive.com, has all of my classes, all of the best ways. If you would like to have a session with me, you can sign up for a session or see what kind of classes we have to offer. Just like Jazara, I really, really believe in giving back, so to speak. Really believe in just dedicating a part of your life to helping others, no matter what. And so for me, theta healing is really one of those things that just changed my life so powerfully. And every
Mm.
single day on my own, I always meditate. So one day in one of my theta healing classes, one of my students said, "Oh, Daniel, I wish I could do this with you every day." She actually said,
Mm.
"I wish I could meditate with you every day. I wish I could have these downloads with you every day." And her ask created this program that has been going on for 3 years in February, every single day, Jazara. Every single day at 8:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those of you who are living in the Philippines at this time in this space, it's 9:45 p.m. your time, right? You can look up wherever that is in your world. So 8:45 a.m. New York time, we'll say. And for 15 minutes, it's just a 15-minute meditation. And my ask is that there are thousands and thousands and thousands of people from all over the world in so many different languages connecting and being a part of this program and really, really, really coming together in one time in one space for 15 minutes, right? I know that
Mm.
when we collectively come together to elevate and raise our vibration, Jazara, that's how we're going to change the world. And that's my ask, my ask. So please, everyone and anyone, you can join us on Zoom or you can join us on Instagram if that's more convenient for you. I am always on Zoom, but I'm not always on Instagram because sometimes I
Mm.
have to do the meditation from my phone somewhere else. So I can't always do both at the same time. But we are always doing it. And so and thank you, Jazara, for being so supportive. And you're always coming, you're always invested, and you're always there. You've been attending the Money Magnet calls. We're doing this really cool 21-day series
Mm.
about, money that is so fun. You're such a support. And you're such a support to me. You're such a support to all of your listeners, to your students, to your clients, everyone. And I just really want to acknowledge you and celebrate you. And may the creator, the source, the light, the universe bless you with everything that you're asking and greater and greater and greater and greater and greater and greater than you could ever imagine, times a godzillion. Okay. And everything and
Yes.
anything that doesn't allow that, can we please destroy and uncreate it? Yes. Let's just get
Yes,
rid
yes,
of
yes.
any of those crappy things that block you and just thank you. Thank you for
Yay.
being you.
Thank you so much, Daniel. What a pleasure to have you. That was like, I think we went to so many places with this podcast.
Yeah.
I look forward to sharing this. Might take some time, but yes, it will come out. And please do share it with your following as well.
I will share
So one last
everyone.
before we go, maybe what
Uh-huh.
is your one word for 2024, or maybe like one mantra? What is your mantra for 2024?
I like the word because I've been asked this a lot about this year, and my word is expansion.
Mm, great. To the
Yeah.
universe and beyond, right?
And beyond. Exactly, sweetie. Exactly, and beyond. Because we just everything we talked about in the 3D reality, we just make everything so significant. You
Yeah.
know, we make everything so significant. We go, oh, this is my little world. This is my world. This is my world. No way, man. No way. No way. Expand, 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 expand. True expansion where nothing can get in your way,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Where you're just expanded and unlimited and you have no fears, no doubts, no uncertainties, just oneness. That's my ask.
Yeah. Yay, thank you. And may you be fully expanded this 2024. And let's
Thank
both
you.
allow ourselves, yeah, for the creator to surprise us with, beyond our
Yes!
imagination. Yay. Thank
Yes!
you.
Thank you,
Bye,
Jazara.
Daniels. Good night. Have a good night. Hello to Guillermo. Hi. Hello. Bye,
Guillermo. Hi
everyone.
to Guillermo. Bye,
Bye
everyone.
bye.
Thank
Both
you.
allow our